Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is a new tea time chat, and today I'm going to be responding to some feedback. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This is a monthly series I like to do on this channel where I chat about makeup related things, beauty news, beauty industry sort of things that I notice or that I see doing the rounds. And this month, because that's another thing I like to do with this series, is to talk about my channel and why I like to do things. And in recent months, I've gained quite a few new subscribers, which is what I'm super happy with. So welcome to everybody who joined me in the past couple of months. I'm really glad to have you here. But I also notice all the time, whenever there is an influx of new people, that I get some comments which are all coming from a good place. I'm very well aware of that, but that I don't really know what to do with. So very often it's meant to be constructive feedback, but then when I respond with, but I cannot do this because XYZ, people will respond to that in like quite a negative way, as if I'm trying to not do my job as a content creator. But that just goes to show that, especially if you're new here, you may not exactly know where I'm coming from and why I do things on my channel the way I like to do them. So I just wanted to tackle a couple of those comments that I've noticed and that I know a lot of people often question about my channel, because they are questions I've had a lot over the years, and why I do things the way I do them, you could say. So if this comes across as a bit of a rant, I do apologize, but I do not tend to plan these videos a lot in advance. That's another thing you need to know about my content. I plan out each month what videos I want to film. I will make a list of products to feature in a certain video, but that's how far it goes. I don't script my videos. I don't have storyboards. Like, there's very little other planning that goes on into creating my content. I just sit down, turn on the camera, and we start talking. There's a couple of things like my intro and stuff that I just have floating around in my brain that when I turn on the camera, I just know exactly what to say. But for the most part, I am someone who does this as a hobby. I have a channel next to a busy job in education. I teach. I have been a teacher for all of my content creation career online. It's never been my intention to be a full-time content creator or to do anything like this with the aim of going viral, gaining enough subscribers to be able to pay my bills with the content I make. That's never been an aim for me. I'm just here because I have fun doing it. And it's something that took a flight, especially in COVID times, because I was stuck at home and I was able to spend more time on it, and then I gained a lot of subscribers pretty quickly, and then I was like, okay, maybe I can work one day a week less so I can put a little bit more time and effort into content creation. But something you need to know is that I've had an online presence since 2010, which has grown very organically. I'm not coming at this with a game plan. I know exactly what I could do to improve the content, gain more subscribers, and do the whole content creation thing. I could very easily do it. The reason why I don't is because I love my other job enough, and because I'm doing this for fun. This is my creative outlet after a stressful day at work. So I'm coming at it from a very different place than most online content creators that you're watching. And I think that that's something that you don't see if you first go onto a channel. You can never tell whether you're watching someone who's a career YouTuber, you could say, or whether you're watching someone like me who's just here for the vibes and who's like, I like makeup. Let's chat about makeup and see if anybody follows me, because that's sort of how things got started. And I've never had a plan, like I said. So for me, it's not that important what my content looks like, because every subscriber I gain is a party to me. Everyone, if you'd have told me back when I started my YouTube channel for the first time in 2014, based off of a suggestion of a friend of mine who was like, you know what, Micah, those blog posts that you do, maybe you should turn them into videos. If you'd have told me that I would be having 12,000 plus subscribers 10 years down the line, I would have probably laughed at your face, because I was like, who wants to watch little old me? No one. yet there are plenty of people who start watching my channel, and there's more and more people who I reach, and it seems to be like there's no end to it. So I'm like, okay, as long as I enjoy doing this, I will keep doing it. Because I do content creation as sort of like a side gig that's gotten a little out of hand, I'm not gonna lie, I do feel that sometimes people come to my channel with the expectations of them clearly having watched other channels, right? Who are run by people who either do this as a job, or even if they do it as a job, don't edit their own videos, because a lot of the stuff that you find on YouTube is edited by hired people. There are content creators out there who have entire teams supporting them. And I'm coming to you from my couch, just chatting to you on my day off, because that's when I film videos, on days off and during the weekend. That's when I can film. And I edit my videos at night after dinner, and in between me having dinner and going to the gym. That's when I create videos. So for me, it's just something that I sort of do as part of my day-to-day life. And it's not an aim, and it's not a goal by itself. I just want to see, that's why I'm saying, I'm happy with everything it brings me, because there is no aim. There is no game plan. There is no, I want to have so many subscribers by the end of the year. I'm like, wow, in just a couple of months' time, I've gained so many more subscribers. So there's definitely that to it as well. But I think that that's where a lot of the feedback actually comes from, that people sometimes ask for in the comments, like, hey, could you do swatches in every single video? Or, for instance, someone commented on a lipstick video I did recently, like, could you do the swatch on the back of your hand in frame? Because I would like to see the lipstick going onto the back of your hand. I was like, I think to a viewer, that is a very easy ask, because it seems like such a small thing, right? Why is there not a swatch in every single video you do? Why don't you show the back of your hand swatching the video, or swatching the lipstick? Or why don't you have better lighting? Why don't you... There's a whole thing. And I'm like, A, I don't have a studio. I don't have the space in my home to have a studio. B, I do not make the sort of money with my YouTube channel that allows me to continuously improve my tech and all of the other stuff you need in order to create better content. I'm just I'm editing videos on a 5-year-old laptop, you guys. It's pretty bare bones over here on this side of the camera. And I think that that's something that a lot of people forget. And something that seems like such an easy ask, like swatches in every single video, make me go like, okay, do you understand what that means? Because either I need to have a database of clips of every single product I own so I can easily insert them into my videos. That's step one. That's a possibility. But my makeup collection is always in flux, so I would have to keep on top of which products I decluttered and then delete those. And then if I have new products, which are coming in monthly, I need to take the clips of that again and keep it up to date. So that takes time and effort and organization. Or I need to film those clips for every single video that I do, which has its own sort of caveat to it. And so regardless of whether I make the actual database or whether I film the clips every single time, I still need to edit those videos to put them into the main video, which increases the edit time by 2, maybe 5 times as much time as I'm currently putting in. And I'm already sometimes struggling getting my videos to go live. If I had a tough day at work, I don't always want to sit behind my computer and edit a video. A video, for every minute of video that you see, you need to add ×2 for just a basic edit. The only thing you've done is to go through the entire video and cut it into pieces. You haven't added clips of swatches, which is called B-roll. That's what the technical term is called. You haven't added transitions. You haven't changed the sort of lighting to make sure that every clip is the same. You haven't done anything like that. And every little step that I've just described adds ×2 to the editing process of the video, because that takes a lot of time. Trust me, I've tried it a couple of years ago. I experimented with having some B-roll in videos because I had a camera where I couldn't hold things up to the camera and the focus would shift. It was like it could focus like this, but then if I held something up to the camera, my entire focus would just go off and it wouldn't go back. So I had to film B-roll if I wanted to show any sort of close-up, and that's something that this camera now is a lot better at. So because I was able to invest in a new camera a couple of years ago, I now have the ability to make life a little easier for myself. So I did that back in the day. And the amount of editing it took to take all those clips, to edit those clips, to make sure they go into the logical part of the video, adds so much more time that just asking something like, why don't you put swatches in every single video? That's why. I don't have the time. I think if I were able to do this full time, that I would be able to put swatches into every single video, because I would have the time to either have a completely edited down database of every single product I own, or I would have the time to film the clips for every single video and then to edit them for every single video. And I don't have the time. I would not have a life outside of YouTube and work if I did that. And I do have a life outside of YouTube and work. So that's definitely something, part of the reason why. Another reason why I don't like to go to the like swatch products for every single video route is, I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but I feel sometimes with some content creators that they only use products for video purposes. Like they barely put the makeup on their face, and you like see it in a haul, they use it in one video, and then it ends up being decluttered straight away. Whereas I always have the intention to actually be able to use my products and to enjoy them for as long as possible. Sure, I try things for videos, mainly Essence and Catrice stuff, and some K-beauty stuff from time to time, some Kiko, but it's not like constant. It's not like always the way for me. I tend to invest in my makeup, and I want to be able to get as much use out of it as possible. Swatching products, going into a product with your finger, even if it's a clean finger, can help deteriorate the lifespan of your makeup product by tenfold. Because there's always bacteria on your fingers. There's always a little bit of oil on your fingers. So if you're swatching something like a bronzer or a blush continuously all the time, it could very well be that you're actually making that product expire more quickly because you're swatching it all the time. And like I said, I'm not someone who buys makeup just for the content. I want to be able to use it. I want to come on here and show you looks and film videos wearing those looks so you can see. And I test things out by going to work and wearing those products in real time in my real life. That's how it works for me. So therefore, the simple ask of, hey, can you put swatches in every single video? Not only does it add a lot of time to making the video, it also means that I could potentially not use the product for as long as I could because I'm using it in a way that it wasn't designed to use as. Because you're not supposed to swatch makeup continuously. Go into a makeup store and look at how terrible some of the makeup looks. Especially if it's a cream product for some reason. Because a million people have gone in there and swatched the products with their fingers. And especially if it's people who aren't careful with those products, it gets really messy super quickly. And it means that the products can just never be at their prime condition. Whereas I am someone who wants to be able to use my makeup for as long as possible. Which means I have to somehow try to aim to maintain my products to keep them in the best shape possible. So that means clean brushes, clean fingers, keeping them in a dry, dark spot, doing all those things. And if you do those things, you can keep your makeup for a very long time because it's not open and exposed to air, it's not exposed to germs, and it's not exposed to oils from your finger, besides from when you're actually actively using it, which makes a huge difference for how long your makeup is gonna last. So that's another reason why I feel uncomfortable putting swatches in every single video. So the only way that would be feasible for me is if when the product comes in, I don't just take images of it, but I also film clips with it straight away so I can have that database for myself. But then I run into the issue of, oh, do I still have this product? Oh, I don't even have that product anymore, because that's a whole thing as well. So what I do, and that's sort of been my compromise, you could say, is that I do take images of every single product that comes in. Like, I'll sit down, and when it's still in its packaging, I open it up for the first time to check when the package arrives. Is it in good condition? It didn't break on the way to getting to me? That's usually the first check. And then once I have a nice little pile of products, I sit down and I take all the images and I use them to create reviews over on my blog. So the database I just mentioned is there. It's just not in video form, and it's not edited into the videos, but it is in a separate spot. And the reason why I do that, I started as a blogger, so for me, it makes a lot of sense to just have a blog somewhere, but it also means that my reviews are very easy to find if you use Google. It's part of like being able, like the discoverability of my content is still very important to have that blog for me. And I also then have a link that I can add to the description box that if you do want to see the product up close, on my face, swatched out, the whole 9 yards, that you can go to the blog post. So that has always been my compromise. And for me as a creator, I want you to engage with as much of my content as possible. In fact, I need you to interact with as much of my content as possible. The more of my videos you watch, the more of my blog posts you view, the better it is for me. So putting all the swatches into every single video I do means you only have to watch one video. You don't have to go elsewhere for the swatches. See where I'm going with this? Whereas if I add the link to the description box and make you go to the blog, I also get a view over there, which then helps my algorithm over there. Yeah. So for me as a content creator, referring you to different videos and having content in different places means you need to go different places to find it all. That means you have to work harder, but it means that I get to do what I need to do and show you everything you need for me, but in a way that you're helping me at the same time. So there's an element there as well. So that definitely goes into it as well, that I want to entice you to watch, for instance, my massive swatch video that I do every year. I swatch out pretty much my entire makeup collection every year in February. And I will swatch my blushes in their little color families. So if you were looking for a good mauve tone blush, that I have all those swatches side by side so that you can also see what is a good mauve tone blush. But I also do content with that. And in those kind of videos where I'm really trying to like compare and contrast products, that's when I will swatch things for you. But if I'm just talking to you about products, I don't feel the need to swatch everything. If I already have all those reviews up, then I'm like, just go have a look at the review. Because a finger swatch, that's another reason why I don't do it, doesn't tell the whole story of the product. It shows you the color, maybe the texture. But other than that, it doesn't show you how it applies. It doesn't tell you anything about wear time. It doesn't give you the full picture. And again, adding that full picture into every single video, it would mean YouTube had to be my day job. And it's not. Yeah. So it's just not feasible for me to give you what you want exactly. But I've tried to go and sit somewhere in the middle. So the content is there for those of you, if you want to. For instance, today I took pictures of the Merit Flush Balm that I'm testing out currently. I've been wearing it on and off for the entire week, so I now have an opinion of it. I took the images when I first got the product in of like the close-ups and the swatch and doing all that. Now I also have images of it being on my face, including a full face makeup look. And then I can just tell you in that blog post about how it wears, how it applies, how it does everything. I filmed a video the other day where I did a get ready with me where you can see this product going on as well. So there is content there. It's just never all in the same spot because putting everything in the same spot takes way too much time and effort. Because I know somebody is probably watching this now and thinking, but Micah, if you do have the images of the swatches, why don't you put the images that you have in the videos? And I do this for my eyeshadow palette review videos. And I do this for whenever I have like a bunch of new Essence and Catrice stuff. Those videos, the first impressions I do put them in. But that's because I don't have anywhere else to put those images, you could say. So the video is the only thing I sort of create with those images. But for instance, for blush, I tend to roll those into a Shop My Stash. It's part of my organic makeup wearing process. And so I will review them, and then sometimes months down the line, I end up wanting to put them in a video together with a bunch of other blushes that I have. So I would have to go out and swatch every single one of them individually so you can see all the swatches together. So you can see what all of those blushes look like together if that's part of what I want to do in that video. So just know that I do whatever it is I can do within the time, means, and effort that I can put into this channel, and that I also make certain choices based on what works better for me. And that may seem very selfish, but like I said, this is a hobby channel. I'm doing this for fun. If I have to go and do that kind of level of editing that is required of adding swatches into every video and doing all that, I don't know how long it would still be fun for me. But like if I could do it full time, then maybe. But like I said, that's never been an aim. I've never wanted to do YouTube full time. It's never been an aim for me. It's not my ambition. So I can be helpful to you if you want to see what a certain product looks like. I always have those links in the description box down below. I'll have a couple of shopping links there as well. So if you want to buy the product, you can. But that's about as far as it goes. What I've also noticed is that people say things like, oh, could you, like, you need better lighting, or could you do this or show us that? And what that tells me is that you don't understand what goes into creating content. You don't understand. Has it become super easy? You can grab your phone and do whatever? Yes, to a certain extent. But I also think that especially within YouTube, this sort of like organic, sort of run-of-the-mill content was sort of lost, especially within the makeup community, around 2016 when like everybody had a ring light all of a sudden. Like everybody all of a sudden had studio lighting. Whereas I can see merit in that, because if you have studio lighting, then of course the lighting conditions stay the same the entire video, which is great for showing off product. But again, remember, I want my makeup to wear well in my day-to-day life. The makeup looks I show you in my videos and in my content, I have actually worn outside to work. What we also got around 2016 is that aesthetics and what things looked like on camera became more important than what the actual makeup looked like on you. So we got a lot of creators who were doing these really intricate looks for Instagram only to wipe it off, because if you looked at them straight on or if they moved their face, the look wasn't wearable. Because the minute they opened their eyes, because a lot of those images were taken like this and then fully edited, like nobody walks around with their face like this the entire day. Nobody does. Nobody lives their life under studio lighting. And you can test this out yourself, even if you don't have studio lighting. Go into a Sephora, go into a Douglas, go into a makeup shop that is around where you live. Not a drugstore, go to one of the more high-end places. Swatch some makeup products on the back of your hand and look at the difference of what they look like in store, especially if they have sparkles, and what they look like if you go outside in natural daylight that isn't direct sun. That's a caveat. No direct sunlight, because that makes everything, like you get harsh shadows and you get a lot of things. Notice the difference of how things look differently. And makeup shops, this has been a thing that they've been doing for decades by now, have special lighting that make the products look better than they do in natural lighting. If you've always felt insecure about your makeup and you cannot get it to look like your favorite creator or what it looked like on you in store when an MUA did your makeup, this is the reason why. This is why we have unrealistic expectations of what makeup looks like on a human face. Because of filters online, if that's where you get most of your information for products from, everything is filtered, everything has special lighting conditions to make the products look extra good, but not to show you what the product actually looks like. And makeup stores do the same thing. This is why you should always ask, and if you're in a mall when you get your makeup done or you're swatching products, actually go outside. Go outside. Don't just stay in the mall because you still have artificial lighting. It's never going to look the same. And I am filming this video in front of a north-facing window that has no direct sunlight for exactly that reason. For exactly that reason. And when I'm at work, we have like the worst fluorescent lighting at work. But because I see my face at home, in my mirror, in front of the whatever, and I see my makeup at work when I use the restroom, I can see what my makeup looks like in real life throughout the day, so that even if things don't look right to you on camera, I mean, if you're filming makeup, you're going from a 3D situation in real life to a 2D image, so it's going to be skewed anyways, even if we exclude all the lighting and the filters and whatever it is that people can do to trick you. But my aim is to show makeup in the most realistic way possible. I don't want to airbrush it. I don't want to have to create content just to make it look pretty. If you want content that looks pretty, that's very pleasing to the eye, there are a million different channels on YouTube that will give you that exact vibe. One of the revolutions of why TikTok beauty talk became so big is because so many people were missing a realistic approach to makeup with real lighting, people setting up their cameras in front of just a window. That's become a whole thing again because of TikTok, but that's something we had lost on YouTube. But I've always tried to stick to my guns. This is what I do best. So I've always wanted to do that. So yes, is my lighting perfect in all of my videos? No. There's a couple of weeks every single year where all of my videos that I film in this location look incredibly green, and I feel like a lot of people think I have an olive undertone because of it, but that's because I have a huge green tree outside of my house. Nothing much I can change there. Yeah, I'm not about to like put blackout blinds in every single room in my house and then have lots of studio lighting just to be able to film videos. I have some studio lighting that I use whenever I film like makeup looks and stuff, and it's been very helpful for doing my makeup in the winter time when we have less lighting. So I use it, I definitely do. But it's mainly for when I want to showcase a bunch of makeup products and I want to make sure the lighting conditions stay the same. And the lighting setup I have makes it look like what I see in real life. That's what I looked for when I set up my lighting rig. And that's another thing you need to be very aware of, is that many other creators have their lighting settings, and makeup Instagram accounts as well have lighting settings, again, to make the product look the best possible. So why do things sometimes look differently on my channel? Because A, I film in natural lighting as much as I can, and because B, I also have a slightly different skin tone than most people. So especially when I do cool tone makeup looks, I've sometimes had people say like, oh, why does it look slightly orange on you? That's because I actually have a cool undertone, and most swatches that you find online are swatched on people with warm skin tones, which is why everything looks more cool tone than they actually are. I did an entire video about that last year, but that's, again, how things look is dependent on so many factors, And a lot of brands and a lot of content creators will just give you the sugar-coated version of what makeup can be and do, and they never give you the realistic perspective, you could say. So that's why I feel it's very important to have videos where I do my makeup in real time, where I test the makeup out by just wearing it outside and seeing what it looks like in different lighting situations. I find that very important. So I do my makeup for me first, and then for content. And I think that that's because I always get people coming into my comments like, oh, I think you should blend your eyeshadow up higher. I always get this comment. Whereas in real life, my eyeshadow always goes up to my brow bone. It's just, I blend, step one. The amount of unblended makeup that I see online is atrocious. Why? Because it looks better on camera. But it looks trashy in real life if you have a harsh line going like straight across your brow bone. Yeah? So for me, I'm like, okay, if I look in my mirror, I have a 2 mirror setup, one close by so I can really see what I'm doing. But I always have my like full face mirror right behind it so I can check what does my eye look like. Have I blended up my eyeshadow far enough? Yes or no. And I will always go in with a little bit of extra to blend it up a little bit higher. I do that almost every single day. It's just that on camera, it doesn't always translate, especially if it's shade that's close to my skin tone or that is a little bit lighter, because then it just like fades into my brow bone, and from this distance, it looks like my eyeshadow isn't going up. But I'm wearing bright green eyeshadow, and if I pull my eye down, you can see that there's only a thin sliver of skin here. It does go up high enough. It's just that whenever I open my eyes, most of my eye look disappears because I have deep set eyes. If I don't blend my eyeshadow above the fold, it's going to look really, really crazy. But if I full on apply it there, it also looks crazy in real life because you move your head, you look down, you look up. And if I were to use like the technique that is recommended for hooded eyes, where you apply your eyeshadow like above the fold, I would end up with a gap of like a centimeter between like where the eyeshadow starts and where it starts again. It would look ridiculous. Trust me, I've tried. So I go for something that looks good. If I look in the mirror, face forward, then I'm happy. That's what I look for. But yeah, that doesn't always translate to what this little thing picks up. It doesn't. So then you can tell me, I think you need to change your makeup technique. And I'm like, no, because you have no clue what my makeup looks like in real life. You don't. You really, really don't. And you also need to stop comparing what something looks like by someone who barely blends their eyeshadow, because they're doing their makeup just for camera. I don't. I need to go places today. I need this to look okay when I go to the grocery store, or when I'm working, or when I'm like hanging out with friends. I need it to look right then as well. You know, I just want to. So there's definitely that. As to a commenter saying something like that was about the like lipstick swatching on the back of my hand, like you need to show the swatch. I want you, just do this. Take a lipstick that you're not too fussed with if it breaks, please, because this can happen. Turn your hand to a camera like this and try swatching a lipstick and make the swatch perfect in one swipe. You won't, because getting the angle right of a lipstick without it breaking and getting the swatch to look nice on camera is impossible if you're not checking what you're actually doing. So I always swatch like this, looking at what I'm actually doing so I can get the angle right and that I don't add too much pressure so the lipstick breaks. I've had lipsticks break on me doing this swatcheroo sort of situation, and the person was like, oh, but you can just like zoom out or show it. And I'm like, no, I can't. This is my camera zoomed out like the most. Like this is the widest angle I have in this camera. There is no wider angle. I can only zoom in. That's the only thing I can do. So it can get you closer, but I can only put you further away if I physically put the camera further away from me. There's that. So the only way I would be able to show you what I do if I swatch it on the back of my hand is to put a camera right here that can film like over my shoulder. But then I would have an extra clip that I have to add in. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? Whenever I do lipstick videos, you always see it going onto my lips. So you can still see how quickly the lipstick deposits color because it goes onto my lips. So showing you me swatching the lipstick on the back of my hand adds no additional information. None whatsoever. So then why would I go through the effort of filming that clip, editing it down, and adding it in, which I already explained takes a lot of time. So there's just a couple of things I wanted to clear up. Know that I do the best that I can do within my abilities, my time, my effort, and the means I have available to me. And that I also have different aims, perhaps, than most other creators have. Great example, I was watching some YouTube the other day. I came across a video by Andréa Matillano. This is nothing against her. I think she's great. She has some lovely content. And I watched her recent Essence video. I'll link it in the description box down below in case you want to go watch it. And I was watching that video and the entire time was like, yep, this is content goals for me. This is, if I could create a video like this, I would be so chuffed with myself. But I also, as I was watching the video, because it was a long video, it was like close to 40 minutes, I also realized why I cannot do it. So let me tell you why I thought that video was so excellent. So she did a video about Essence. She did 10 products that went viral, 10 that she felt were overrated, and then 10 of her favorites, or 10 that you could miss. I don't remember what the last category was anymore. But 10, 10, 10, so 30 products in total. And she had, for every single product in the video, she presented the product info to you in a front-facing sort of situation. Then she had a clip for every single product, without fail, a screenshot of the website where it's still available, so you could see the price point. She had a close-up of the product closed, a close-up of the product opened, a close-up of the swatch of that product, and if she had multiple colors of, let's say, a lipstick, then she had swatches for every single color in there as well. And she had clips of herself applying the product to her face. And it was very clear to me from the clips where she applies it to her face, like in some of the clips she had her hair down, in other clips her hair was up. There was a different top visible in all of those clips. So all in all, I think, like I estimate that just filming that one video took her a full work week. If she filmed all of those clips separately, if everything was done for that one video, I think that was 40 hours worth of filming, editing, getting the lighting right, doing everything. So as much as I love that for her, the more I realized that I was like, I could never. I don't have the time in my week to be able to put that much effort into one single video. I don't have the time. I could never. Like, unless I start doing this full time, I might. Maybe she does have a database with all of those swatches and those close-up products. I don't know how she runs it. That could very well be the case. And one of the reasons why I like watching Andréa Matillano from time to time is because she does a lot of drugstore videos, and she tries out a lot of Essence and Catrice like I do. So I kind of sometimes watch her videos to know what she thinks of products, because her preferences are different from mine. And that also made me realize, watching that video again, where I was like, I kind of felt fooled by some parts of her video, because I've tried so much Essence myself. All the products she was mentioning in that video, I have tested out myself. And I was like, those products actually don't really look like that, do they? They don't. And then I realized how bright her lighting settings are. Like, she has turned up the brightness all the way. Her background is so incredibly white. And there's so much lighting going on in that video. And I'm like, it looks pretty. It makes the makeup look gorgeous all the time. But it's like putting a spotlight onto something. And I'm like, again, not very realistic when it comes to when you actually buy the product and start wearing the makeup yourself. So for me, I thought it was an excellently done video. It was beautiful. But again, I realized watching that video, I was like, yeah, I can see why people come onto my channel after watching a video like this and them wanting me to do the same thing. And I'm like, I'd love to. I'd love to be able to bring you that type of content. And I'm like, you know what? Unless there's a major, major change in my life, that will never happen. And as I said, I don't change. I don't aim to make that change happen either. It's just not me. So I hope you realize that not every channel you follow is going to give you the same thing, and that's something I feel should be celebrated, not criticized, not something to give feedback on. I'm a teacher. I give feedback for a living. So I'm someone who can tell you that feedback should only be given at the right place, at the right time, and in a way that a person can actually do something with the feedback. And I think that even though you mean well and you're only trying to help me, because I know it's coming from a good place, I do sometimes feel like that people don't understand why things are happening. And I understand if you're new to a channel and it's been like this for a while, you're like, I'm kind of missing that. Know that you're missing it because you're seeing it on other channels. That's why. And because you haven't even probably tried to open a description box. If you work a touch harder for what you want to find, it's all there. I give it to you all the time. But you may have to go a little bit further than with some other creators. That's the only thing I'm asking of you. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and it wasn't too ranty for you. And then I really hope to see you again very, very soon. I will have another video like this next month because I come on here to chat with you from time to time. Let me know in a comment down below what topic you would like me to cover next. Like, is there a big controversy? I have English today is yeah, so is there anything that stood out to you that you want me to discuss? Then I'm always open to suggestions for this video. And then I really hope you have a great rest of your day, and then I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye bye.